The 1980s, a decade of innovation, speed, and style. While America had muscle and might, Europe was rewriting the rules of trucking. From turbocharged beasts built to conquer mountains to sleek machines that redefined efficiency and design, these trucks didn't just move cargo, they shocked the world. Get ready for a journey through engineering brilliance. This is 10 European trucks from the 1980s that shocked the world. Number 1. Volvo F12. When the Volvo F12 hit the highways in 1977 and ruled the 1980s, it wasn't just another truck, it was a declaration of a new trucking philosophy. At a time when most manufacturers focused on brute force and payload, Volvo dared to think differently. They asked a question that nobody else was asking: what if a truck could be powerful, comfortable, and safe all at once? The F12 answered that question with authority. Its TD1 12-liter turbocharged inline-six engine produced up to 385 horsepower, a figure that instantly made it one of the strongest European trucks of its time. But it wasn't just about numbers. It was about how that power was delivered. Smooth torque, quiet operation, and exceptional reliability made it a driver's dream. The engine was engineered for endurance, often running more than 1 million kilometers without major overhauls. Volvo's real revolution, though, was in the cab design. The F12 introduced the world's first fully crash-tested truck cab, setting a global precedent for safety. Built around a high-strength steel safety cage, it featured crumple zones and an energy-absorbing steering column, features that saved countless lives. Inside, the truck was a revelation. Volvo treated drivers like professionals, not laborers. Ergonomic dashboards, vibration insulation, and effective heating and cooling made long hauls more bearable than ever. The spacious sleeper and soft-touch interior materials transformed long-distance trucking into a far more civilized experience. The F12's blend of comfort, performance, and safety shocked the industry. Competitors scrambled to catch up as Volvo redefined the concept of a modern truck. And when fleets saw how reliable and economical these rigs were over time, they realized Volvo had built something extraordinary. By the mid-1980s, the F12 wasn't just another truck on Europe's roads. It had become the benchmark. To this day, many old F1s are still hauling freight in developing countries, a testament to the build quality that made it legendary. It didn't just move cargo, it moved the entire industry forward. Number 2. Scania 142H. If the Volvo F12 was the brain of European trucking, the Scania 142H was its heart, loud, muscular, and unforgettable. Released in 1980, this truck represented everything Scania stood for: power, durability, and an emotional connection between man and machine. Underneath the cab sat one of the most revered engines ever built. The Scania DS14, a 14.2-liter V8 turbo diesel that could produce up to 420 horsepower and a thunderous 1500 Nm of torque. In the early 1980s, those were insane numbers. No other production truck could match that kind of raw pulling power. Drivers said the 142H didn't just climb hills, it devoured them. But it wasn't just its muscle that shocked the world. The DS14 was engineered with such precision that it became one of the most durable V8s ever built. Many engines easily surpassed 1 million kilometers with only basic servicing. The simple modular design allowed mechanics across Europe to repair and rebuild them without factory support, making it ideal for cross-continental hauls. And then there was the sound, that legendary Scania V8 rumble. Deep, rhythmic, and commanding, it became the soundtrack of European freight for an entire generation. To this day, enthusiasts recognize it instantly. The 142H's cab was straightforward, but incredibly functional. Scania placed everything within reach, prioritized visibility, and introduced features like air suspension and improved insulation to reduce driver fatigue. Long before driver comfort became a buzzword, Scania treated it as a core engineering principle. Fleet owners loved the truck for a different reason: profitability. The 142H's fuel economy was surprisingly efficient for its size, and its reliability meant minimal downtime. Whether in Scandinavian timber operations or Spanish freight corridors, this truck became synonymous with unstoppable performance. The 142H wasn't flashy, but it was mighty, a perfect blend of strength and smarts. By the end of the 1980s, Scania's V8 engines had achieved near-mythical status, influencing truck design for decades. Today, surviving 142Hs are cherished by collectors who remember them as the last of the true mechanical giants, trucks with real souls and thunder in their chests. Number 3. MAN F90. When MAN unveiled the M90 in 1986, it didn't just introduce a new truck, it introduced a new standard for the entire European market. MAN's philosophy had always been rooted in efficiency and technical purity, and the F90 embodied that to perfection. The F90 was powered by the D2866 LF straight-six turbocharged diesel engine, offering outputs ranging from 360 to 400 horsepower. It wasn't the most powerful engine of its era, but it was arguably the smartest. The D2866 was engineered for fuel efficiency and low-end torque, giving the F90 remarkable drivability on long highway stretches. Operators soon discovered that it could pull heavy loads with ease while burning less diesel than most rivals, a huge advantage during Europe's energy-conscious 1980s. But the shock came when people realized just how far MAN had pushed aerodynamics and driver comfort. The F90's cab wasn't a square box. It was a carefully shaped shell honed in wind tunnels, dramatically reducing drag. The result? Lower fuel consumption, quieter cabins, and higher cruising stability. Inside, the F90's cab was an ergonomic masterpiece. MAN designed every control and switch with precision, ensuring minimal driver strain during long hauls. The seats were air-suspended, the interior was soundproofed, and even the storage was modular. Compared to earlier MANs, this felt like stepping into the future. Technologically, it was also one of the most advanced trucks of its time. The ZF 16-speed eco-split transmission gave drivers flexibility and control, while the introduction of electronic air suspension provided superior ride quality. Combined with powerful brakes and a reinforced chassis, the F90 was a driver's dream on mountain descents or long autobahn runs. The truck's success went beyond Germany. It became a fleet favorite across Europe for its incredible reliability and low operating costs. It was a thinking man's truck, not built to show off, but to perform relentlessly and efficiently. Even today, old hauliers call the F90 the accountant's dream, because it delivered power, precision, and profitability in one beautifully engineered package. It was Germany's quiet genius of the 1980s, the truck that proved efficiency could be exciting. Number 4. Renault R420 Turbo. In the early 1980s, few expected France to produce a truck that could rival the best from Sweden or Germany. But when Renault introduced the R420 Turbo, it shocked the European market and forced everyone to take French engineering seriously. The R420 was part of Renault's R series, and it came armed with a powerhouse, the Magirus 06.35.40 12-liter turbocharged inline-six engine, producing 420 horsepower. That figure alone placed it firmly among the elite. But what truly amazed the industry was its smoothness and refinement. The R420 didn't just pull, it glided, offering an effortless driving experience even under full load. Renault engineers had a clear goal: blend aerodynamics, comfort, and economy like no one else, and they succeeded brilliantly. The R420's cab design was revolutionary. Sleek curves, flush surfaces, and a swept-back windshield reduced drag significantly. This wasn't just for style. It translated to real-world savings on fuel. Inside, Renault delivered what many called the French living room on wheels. The cab was spacious, luxuriously appointed, and meticulously detailed. Padded dashboards, plush seats, reading lights, and thick curtains gave it a home-like feel. For long-haul drivers, it was a game-changer. Renault understood that happy, well-rested drivers were more productive, an idea that would later become an industry standard. On the road, the R420 proved both agile and stable. Its suspension system soaked up bumps, and its braking was crisp and reliable. Renault's powertrain was tuned for balanced performance, making it one of the most drivable trucks of its decade. What truly made the R420 special was its visionary design language. It looked futuristic, aerodynamic, sleek and purposeful, years before such shapes became common. The truck's influence could be seen later in both Volvo and Renault's post-merger designs of the 1990s. Though it never achieved global fame, the Renault R420 Turbo remains one of the 1980s most underestimated gems. It shocked the world not with brute power, but with innovation, elegance, and foresight. It was proof that when the French built something serious, they built it with style and sophistication that could rival anyone. Number 5. Iveco Turbostar. If there was one truck in the 1980s that made people realize Italian engineering wasn't just for sports cars, it was the Iveco Turbostar. Introduced in 1984, this truck wasn't built merely to haul freight. It was built to dominate highways with power, style, and attitude. Under the hood roared the Fiat 8280 V8, a 17.2-liter diesel engine that could produce up to 420 horsepower and an earth-moving 1,500 Nm of torque. For its era, this made the Turbostar one of the most powerful production trucks in Europe, rivaling Scania's V8 and Max E9 power plants. The sheer thrust of this engine, paired with its distinctive deep-throated roar, made it a favorite among drivers who loved the feel and sound of real diesel muscle. The driving dynamics of the Turbostar shocked competitors. Iveco engineers optimized the chassis and suspension for high-speed cruising. On the long, straight autostradas of Italy and France, the Turbostar felt incredibly stable even at top speed. The gearbox ratios were fine-tuned for acceleration and smooth power delivery, giving it a road presence that earned it the nickname, the Autostrada King. But the brilliance of the Turbostar wasn't only in performance, it was also in presentation. Iveco gave it an aerodynamic cab design with sleek lines, rounded corners, and a slightly sloping roofline that made it look fast even while parked. Inside, it offered comfort and class in a way few trucks had before. Thickly padded seats, intuitive dashboards, and soft interior materials created a driver environment that bordered on luxury. For owner-operators, the Turbostar was a statement of pride. It said, "You didn't just work hard, you drove something special." Its V8 engine, combined with Italian flair, made it a truck that stirred emotion. It was trucking as passion, not just profession. While Iveco eventually replaced it with more modern and efficient models, the Turbostar remains a legend of 1980s Europe, a perfect blend of muscle, beauty, and speed. Even today, at truck shows across Italy, the sound of a restored Turbostar's V8 still makes crowds turn their heads in awe. Number 6. DAF 3600 ATI. In the 1980s, the Netherlands may have been a small country, but its trucks had a reputation for being giants of reliability and innovation. The DAF 3600 ATI, introduced in 1985, was one such titan, and it quietly shocked the industry with its unmatched smoothness, durability, and efficiency. ATI stood for Advanced Turbo Intercooling, a technology DAF developed to maximize power while maintaining fuel economy. Under the cab sat an 11.6-liter DAF DKX 1160 engine producing around 373 horsepower and a massive 1,350 Nm of torque. It wasn't the loudest truck on the road, but it was one of the most refined. Its power delivery was steady, predictable, and incredibly efficient. This engine was so well engineered that many operators reported over 1 million kilometers before major rebuilds. DAF's goal wasn't to build the fastest truck, it was to build the smartest one, and they succeeded brilliantly. The combination of the turbo intercooling system, high gearing, and aerodynamic cab gave the 3600 remarkable fuel economy, a critical advantage during the fuel-conscious decade. The cab itself was a masterpiece of driver ergonomics. The high-mounted design offered outstanding visibility, while the interior was quiet, spacious, and comfortable. The bed was large enough for real rest, and storage compartments were abundant. The instrument layout was logical and functional, showing DAF's deep understanding of what drivers actually needed on long journeys. Fleet operators loved the DAF 3600 for its reliability and low running costs, while drivers appreciated its comfort and simplicity. Unlike many high-power trucks of its time, it didn't demand aggression. It encouraged calm, confident control. It was the gentleman's truck of the 1980s, dignified, steady, and relentlessly dependable. The 3600 ATI's influence reached far beyond the Netherlands. Its balance of efficiency and comfort helped shape the next generation of DF trucks and even influenced competitors like Renault and MAN to rethink how they approached aerodynamics and fuel use. Today, a restored DF 3600 is a prized collector's item, a quiet monument to Dutch engineering brilliance. In a decade defined by roaring V8s and loud chrome, the DF 3600 ATI proved that true strength could also whisper. Number 7. Mercedes-Benz NG80. If trucking had royalty, the Mercedes-Benz NG80 series would wear the crown. Built from 1980 through the late 80s, the NG80 new generation shocked the industry, not with flash or noise, but with German precision, unbreakable reliability, and comfort that bordered on luxury. Mercedes had already earned a reputation for building tanks disguised as trucks. But the NG80 series took that philosophy into the modern age. These rigs were powered by the legendary OM422 and OM403 V8 diesel engines, offering up to 435 horsepower and remarkable torque. The engines were smooth, efficient, and capable of running for decades, literally. Some are still in operation today in parts of Africa and Eastern Europe 40 years later. The NG80 was revolutionary because it merged toughness with refinement. Its modular cab system could be adapted for multiple uses, short-haul, construction, or long-distance transport. Mercedes engineers made significant aerodynamic improvements, reshaping the grille, rooflines, and mirrors to improve fuel economy at high speeds. Inside, the NG80 shocked everyone with its level of comfort. Mercedes treated drivers the way they treated luxury car owners: air suspension seats, plush materials, climate control, and instrument panels that wouldn't look out of place in an S-Class sedan. For the first time, long-haul drivers could spend 12 hours behind the wheel and step out without feeling broken. Reliability was another realm where the NG80 reigned supreme. The drivetrain and chassis were massively overbuilt, designed to last millions of kilometers with minimal wear. Its air brake systems, transmission synchronizers, and electrical systems were engineered with such precision that fleets quickly realized Mercedes trucks cost more upfront, but saved thousands over time. The NG80 was, in many ways, the Mercedes-Benz philosophy on wheels: solid, safe, and relentlessly functional. It didn't shout for attention, but it commanded respect everywhere it went. In the 1980s, if you saw one of these silver giants hauling freight across Europe, you knew it meant business. Today, the NG80 stands as a testament to timeless engineering. Many modern Mercedes actress innovations, from comfort to modularity, can trace their DNA back to this 1980s legend that shocked the world with its class and capability. Number 8. Magirus DOTS 360. Before I've eco-absorbed it, Magirus DOTS was a proud German manufacturer, famous for doing things differently. And nothing embodied that boldness better than the Magirus 360, a truck that shocked the world simply because it ignored the rules. While every other truck relied on liquid cooling, the Magirus 360 ran on an air-cooled 16-liter V8 diesel engine, producing 360 horsepower. It didn't use radiators, coolant, or water pumps. Instead, massive fans forced air over precision-designed fins that kept the engine cool even under the toughest loads. It was mechanical audacity at its finest, and it worked brilliantly. This unique cooling system made the Magirus nearly indestructible in extreme conditions. In scorching deserts, icy mountains, and dusty construction zones where radiators often failed, the 360 kept on running. It became a favorite among military fleets, construction companies, and long-distance hauliers in the Middle East and Africa. The air-cooled Dion's engine was also a masterpiece of simplicity. With fewer components to maintain, breakdowns were rare, and servicing was straightforward. Mechanics adored it for its accessibility, while operators praised its dependability. On the road, the Magirus 360 wasn't the fastest, but it was unstoppable. The heavy-duty chassis, paired with rugged transmissions and axles, made it capable of carrying huge payloads over impossible terrain. The cab, though utilitarian, offered decent comfort, wide seating, clear visibility, and a surprisingly quiet ride considering its engine configuration. What truly shocked engineers worldwide was how effective Magirus was at making air cooling viable at such a scale. No one else dared try it for heavy trucks, and few ever managed to replicate it. Though the brand eventually merged into Iveco, the legacy of the Magirus 360 remains intact. It proved that innovation doesn't always mean following convention. Sometimes it means trusting your engineering instincts, even when the rest of the world thinks you're crazy. The Magirus 360 remains a symbol of German ingenuity and defiance, a truck that stood against conformity and proved that simplicity, when done right, can conquer the world. Number 9. Sisu SK150. While the rest of Europe engineered trucks for highways and cities, Finland was building machines to conquer nature itself. Enter the Sisu SK150, one of the most rugged, overbuilt, and underrated heavy-duty trucks of the entire 90s. This wasn't just a truck, it was an industrial-grade survival tool, designed to operate where roads ended and conditions turned hostile. Built by Sisu Auto, Finland's national truck manufacturer, the SK150 was engineered specifically for heavy haulage, forestry, and military logistics in freezing environments where temperatures routinely dropped to -40°C. At its heart, it was powered by either a Cummins NTC 350 or a Scania DS14 V8 engine, depending on the configuration, both producing around 350 to 420 horsepower. These engines were chosen not only for power but for one essential reason: reliability in extreme cold. The Sisu SK150 featured permanent all-wheel drive, with multiple locking differentials, a heavy-duty transfer case, and reinforced axles designed to handle slippery ice, mud, and snow. Its suspension system was equally impressive. Built with extra travel and durability to withstand rough off-road terrain, while carrying massive loads like timber, construction materials, or military equipment. The cab design reflected Scandinavian practicality. It was simple, warm, and functional. Drivers had double-glazed windows, powerful heaters, and insulation thick enough to make Arctic nights survivable. Visibility was superb thanks to high seating positions and wide glass panels, crucial when navigating icy forests. Everything was designed for one goal: to keep the truck running and the driver alive, no matter what. The SK150 wasn't flashy like a Scania or aerodynamic like a Mayan F90, but it didn't need to be. It was a working legend capable of hauling freight across frozen lakes, snow-covered logging trails, and remote wilderness roads that would paralyze lesser trucks. Finnish hauliers and forestry operators still remember it as the truck that could go anywhere and come back in one piece. While it never achieved fame outside Northern Europe, the Sisu SK150 remains a symbol of engineering with purpose, a reminder that sometimes the greatest brilliance isn't about style or speed, but about surviving the impossible. Number 10. Pegaso Troner. Spain may not have been known as a trucking powerhouse in the 1980s, but that changed dramatically when Pegaso unveiled the Troner in 1987. This was a truck that caught the entire European industry off guard. It was bold, futuristic, and technologically advanced, a truck so far ahead of its time that even seasoned engineers were impressed. Developed through a collaboration between Pegaso and DAF, the Troner was designed to be Spain's first truly world-class heavy truck, and it delivered. Under its aerodynamic cab sat a 12-liter Pegaso 360 TDA turbo diesel engine, producing up to 360 horsepower in early versions and later upgraded to 400 horsepower with DAF power plants. It was smooth, efficient, and reliable. Everything Spanish trucks weren't typically known for. But the real shock came from the cab design and driver experience. The Troner introduced a flat-floor cabin, a rare luxury at the time, with enough standing height for drivers to walk inside comfortably. It featured one of the largest sleeper bunks in Europe, a full digital dashboard, a first for a European truck, and aerodynamic shaping that rivaled even the Renault R420. Every detail, from the curved roof deflector to the recessed door handles, was engineered to improve airflow and reduce drag. Inside, the Troner's comfort level was unheard of in 1980s Europe. There was advanced climate control, ample lighting, multiple storage compartments, and soft materials throughout. It was designed not just for long hauls, but for living on the road. Many drivers called it a hotel on wheels. Pegaso built the Troner with precision, lightweight materials, advanced chassis construction, and reliability that surprised even skeptics. The truck was incredibly stable at high speeds and handled like a dream on long Spanish highways. However, its brilliance came too late. The European trucking giants, Volvo, Scania, and Mercedes, had already dominated the market. In 1990, Pegaso was absorbed by Iveco, and the Troner's production quietly ended. But for those who remember, the Pegaso Troner was nothing short of a revelation. It was Spain's proud declaration to the trucking world: we can build greatness too. Even today, restored Troners at European truck shows draw crowds who recognize it for what it truly was, the forgotten super truck that proved Spain could stand among the best. These trucks proved that Europe's 1980s era wasn't just about style, it was about strength, endurance, and innovation that still inspires modern transport today. Which one do you think made the biggest impact? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this trip through trucking history, make sure to like, share, and subscribe for more forgotten machines and iconic legends of the road. Thanks for watching, and remember, the past still drives the future.